Hey guys, it's Flip, and today I'm going to show you how to clean up some rusty old weights and get them looking like new. So I found these old weights on the curb the other day. Somebody was throwing them away. They look like they've been outside for a long time. So I'm going to show you an easy process to restore these. To do this project, you need a few supplies. First of all, you need some safety goggles and a mask to keep rust particles out of your eyes and your lungs. You definitely want a good pair of gloves to keep your hands safe. You need a wire wheel set, and some different sizes will come in handy. And I'll put a link to all this stuff below the video if you want to check it out. You need some type of Rust-Oleum spray, paint, and primer for metal. You need a cordless drill. You need a rag for cleanup after you're done sanding. And lastly, it's not shown here, but optional, is a paint pen. So the first thing you need to do is remove the rust, and as you can see here, the method I'm choosing to do this is a cordless drill and a wire wheel. I prefer this method just because I think it's the most efficient way to do it. You can do this with just a wire brush, but I would not do that if you have a lot of weights to do, because it is pretty time consuming and a bit of a workout. A cordless drill and a wire wheel will make this a lot easier for you. There's also another method where you could soak these weights in vinegar, but then I would have had to gone out and buy a couple gallons of vinegar and get a couple big buckets or tubs where you're going to store the vinegar, and they get all nasty and smelling like vinegar, and then you have to dispose of that rusty vinegar water solution when you're all finished. You have to let the weights soak in the vinegar for a few days, so then you have these big bins of vinegar sitting around in your garage for several days, taking up space, and I have a small garage, so I did not want to deal with that. Not to mention that after they soak, then you have to go in and brush them off anyway, so to me it just makes more sense just to jump right in with the wire wheel and just knock this rust off. When you finish each weight, you can use a leaf blower and blow off the loose rust. It helps to have a wide variety of wire wheels or cup brushes like I'm using here. The big ones will make a big area go faster, and the little ones can get into little nooks and crannies easier. You can put the weights in a vise like this, but I found it easier just to kind of lay the weights on a flat work area and use other weights to hold it in place like this. I already had a set of wire wheels on hand because I've used this method of removing rust and painting many times in the past with lawnmower decks. I do have a video of me restoring a lawnmower deck using this method, and I'll put a link to that video in the corner of the screen right now if you're interested. So each plate took anywhere from, I'd say, about 2 minutes to 5 minutes or so, depending on how bad it was. And this dumbbell right here took me a few minutes longer than that just because it was pretty crusty. So you want to try to get all the loose, flaky paint off. You don't have to get all the old paint off. You just want to get it down as smooth as you can before you hit it with spray paint. So just take your time and work through this, and make sure you're wearing a good mask and safety goggles. You don't want to get any rust in your lungs or your eyes. But it's actually pretty satisfying work where you can admire a finished product when you're all done. So after sanding each plate, I hit it with the leaf blower like I showed before, just to get all the loose rust particles off. And then I go over with a wet rag just to make sure it's good and clean before I hit it with the spray paint. I did this in the direct sunlight just so they would dry quickly, but you could just use a towel and dry them off if you're doing it in your garage or something. Now for the spray paint, I had a couple partial cans left over from previous projects. Rust-Oleum black gloss finish, so that's just what I used just because I had it on hand. I wasn't going to go out and buy some new paint when I had some leftovers at the house. A lot of people will use a hammered finish spray paint, but again, I pulled these weights out of the garbage and I was just looking to do it cheap, so I was using what I had on hand. So to spray these, I just laid them out on cardboard in my garage and just gave each one a healthy coat and just tried to get at it from every angle, and then I will let it sit for 24 hours. The next day I flipped them all over and then did the same thing to the other side. I let them dry for 24 hours again and then checked to see if I had missed any spots. There was a couple little spots I hit, but most of it just got one coat. So the next part is totally optional, but if you like the look of it, you can take a white or silver paint pen like this and go over the letters and numbers on your weights. This is just a matter of preference. Some people may choose to leave them a solid color and just prefer how it looks like that. But that's it. Once you let that dry, you're all finished. So here's how mine came out. Here's that before shot of a few of the weights one more time so you can see how rusty they were. And then here's the after. So that's it. Hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please hit the thumbs up button for me and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.